Hi, Luminaires. How is everybody doing? Hello, hello. My name is Jane Butler. I'm the Everyday Medium, and today we're going to talk about some multidimensional healing techniques. Basically, I want to share with you what I've been witnessing and experiencing during my personal healing as well as my 21 days of Reiki sessions that I do. I have come across some I keep looking away because I don't know what to call it. Some techniques, these maybe you out there have experienced what I've experienced. And if that's so, let's write this up in the chat thread if you have come across something similar. But today I want to talk about Archangel healing techniques that I've seen, as well as multidimensionals. Really going to linger here on the Octurians because it was something very intriguing, as well as Earth's elements, like coming to the rescue, coming forward with loud voices, which as an American and brought up in my culture as an American, Western, the voices of plants and communication of plant life and elements is just not our common everyday acceptance or language. So even talking about plant life and elements is a little like talking about aliens for me. So that's interesting. Let's do this. um, if you are joining me at any time and you want to contribute to the content, type it up. We come back and we look at this chat thread so much, and it helps us understand kind of where you're coming from. And of course, if you have any suggestions of what we could be doing on our side or topics that we can bring to the table, we like to hear those too. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. Thank you. We like to go live once a week. Commonly, we bounce between Wednesdays and Fridays. I think we're going to settle into some Wednesday talks now. But do hit the subscribe and button so that you can get notified of when we are going live. Because if you have questions, put them up in the chat thread. Let's go for it. Okay, I'll take them in groups, and then I'm going to share with you what I think the overarching purpose of these unique healings are really getting us to learn. And I also want to talk about some common themes that I'm hearing show up, not just in my readings, but in personal healings and also like classes, workshops, and everything that we're bringing together. So, archangels, I want to talk about Metatron. For those of you who don't know me very well, I have been a Reiki master for probably 3 decades now, easily. What I do for healing sessions is Reiki based, but I also include quantum healing techniques. This is a large range. It's like taking string theory, science, quantum physics, looking at their theories and applying that to the focused, like healing approach of Reiki, as well as using mediumship skills and communicating to multidimensionals, your loved ones who've transitioned. They come in and help as well. And this is the work that I've been doing for decades. And like with anybody, look at the job that you do in your day-to-day life. You're in it, you get to know it really well. You know, if you work with plants, you're really noticing the color of the leaves, the texture, the soil. If you're working at an office, you know the hum of when the office is in, unity and working, and you just feel when something is off and just how to attend to it. So you kind of have this deeper relationship with repetitive actions that you do. And in this, you start to, let's say, crawl outside the edges of the box. Like get to the edges of the box and then like flop over the edges, where you're like, okay, I've done this so much. I know what this is about. Like I'm not as curious about it anymore because I'm aware of its predictability and what possibly is coming from it. So now it's like, what if I added this spice, or what if we tweak that? What if we make it better? Is that's when the curiosity starts to come, is like, how to shape it, or you have space to look at the edges of the box rather than what's in it, your routine. You start looking outside of that to explore what else can be coming up. So in my sessions over, 30 years, you just kind of get into a hum of things when it comes to healing. I check physical systems, respiratory, circulatory, muscular, skeletal, did I say that one right? Endocrine, lymphatic, digestive, like we just keep going. So kind of check in with all of that. And then it's like, you want to look at the emotional energy, the mental energy. You want to look at the spiritual energy and how it's held together. So when I first started, I was all about the body because healing back in the 90s, it was more about my body hurts, I have pain. How do we fix that? I was working with people that had cancers, working with people who had burns, broken bones, discomfort, dislocation, disc issues, things of that nature. And then it kind of gravitated to a more of an awareness of people looking at their emotional health. I don't feel good. I'm not as happy. I'm depressed. I feel dissonant, and so you build your skills in working with emotional energy. And then came in the whole, let's look at your mental health, which I'm so grateful. Thank you for the movement and fad of getting into, I did call it a fad, getting into mental health awareness. Because there is, in my opinion, I'll say this, there is a fine line between spiritual awareness and insanity. And now backing up, the reason that I called it a fad is like we all look at something new and shiny and we all grow to it and there's skills that develop to it and then we kind of level out. I really don't want it to be that new shiny thing that we look at. I really want it to be an everyday foundational element that we're looking at all aspects of our well-being. But I feel like we're kind of crawling out of that. I'm hoping the next fad coming up is really emotional health and understanding emotions. Huh. Hey, good morning, guys. Morning from Ohio. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Tony. Okay, we will get into some of that, what you're sharing up on the chat thread. Yeah, Vlad is like, I agree with Jamie. This is explained by other complementary disciplines like biogeometry, some even measurable. Yes, even measurable. Tara's like, yeah, I think it's called shiny object syndrome. Ooh, we're enamored by it. But I like that it's bringing up health balances. So, we go through that in any of your, like, building your profession or your relationship with something you're really into. So me coming from America, I mentioned it glibly like a little bit ago. It's like we weren't raised with, plants have voices and they speak to you. And we weren't raised with, like, elements have voices, they speak to you. Everything has a voice and it speaks to you. Everything is alive. Everything has consciousness. It's more like we're an industrial culture and we're going to go out there, we're going to focus on our goals, we're going to climb that ladder, and we're going to get married and we're going to have kids and we're going to have that car and that house and that dream, the American dream. So there was a visit I had to Maui. I was on a panel and it was a life, death, near death, afterlife event with gratefully with Ram Dass on the panel, which I had a blast with. And so I get to Maui, Hawaii, and I'm invited to Kahuna's healer's house. And I get there and I'm standing in the yard and I'm so overwhelmed. I must have looked insane. I'm standing in the yard like a toothpick, my arms to my side, and I'm doing this. I am looking for where the voices are coming from. I didn't see disembodied spirits, people like, I didn't see them talking to me, but there was voices and voices and voices and voices, and I'm just standing there. And finally, the Kahuna comes over to me and says, is everything all right? And I just kind of looked at her and she said, do you hear the voices? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she goes, that's the plants. That's the earth talking to you. And I was like, not that loud. I'm like, I don't think so. Not that loud. She was like, no, they have a voice here. And like, she kind of pointed and showed, and it was just like this moment where your mind breaks because you weren't taught about it. You didn't think about it. You weren't expecting it. And then it just opens up so much. Like, what else has a voice? Like, what else are you able to communicate with? Like, if this is really happening, I'm not crazy. Fine line between sanity, no, fine line between spiritual awakening and insanity. And it's like, well, I'm healthy. I'm aware of what's happening, but this is real. So then it's okay. I'm adding this in. Now I'm more aware. Then I had a session where a woman calls in and she has a bit of an accent. It's a Spanish accent, like maybe Mexican. It was just like a great like rolling of the sounds, and she calls in and she's a little frantic and kind of more emotional. I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm like, hi, how can I help you? My name's Jamie. It's nice to meet you. She goes, I need to speak to my Chico, my Chico. And I was like, oh, like you could hear the endearing, like this boy belongs to me, my boy, my Chico. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I said her name, I do my little prayer, my setup, and it was like person, 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 tiny little dog, person, person, person. And I'm looking at the people and I'm like, okay, who's Chico? Okay, come on, let's talk to her. Nothing. And I was like, and then I hear a little voice that speaks English. Fine line between spiritual enlightenment and insanity. And this little voice belonged to the dog, and the dog is like, I'm Chico. And I was like, oh, there was nothing that ever indicated Chico was an animal or that we were going to be speaking to an animal. This was her baby, her family, which, again, that's on me, right? For thinking family is only defined by like species. So I said, well, I've got some entities in the room, but there's a really small dog who wants to speak to you. And she's silent. And I'm like, oh God, Jamie, like what, like, this is so crazy. And I could see the dog so clearly. And I'm like, this is a Min Pin Chihuahua mix. I mean, it looked like parts of a Chihuahua and parts of a miniature Pinscher were glued together. No denying it. There was no denying it. I was like, it looks like a Min Pin pit. She goes, my Chico. And I was like, oh my God, Chico's a dog. Chico's a dog. And this is the fault of the reader, fingers pointed at me, right? To assume that whatever name is being used belongs to a person. Like, it takes a while to grow as a reader and just step off of all labels, step off of all expectations. I mean, you just got to lay there real empty, and that is a challenge, because being humans, we just love to throw in all kinds of things, but you just got to let go. And so Chico gave the most beautiful session. Like, it's in my top 10. It was beautiful. I went home that day and I looked at my cats and I was like, hi, I know that you can talk. Like, I full on witnessed what you're capable of doing today. Like, I love you. Thank you for everything you've done. And immediately changed my relationship that I had with animals, which I had a very tight, loving, compassionate relationship with animals. But I didn't apply that high intelligence, that self thinking, collaborating here to support you with their intelligence into it. I just self-centered human, doing my thing. Now it's way different. It's like, okay. So slowly in my journey, I've been broken down to that everything has voice and intelligence. But still, my world was more of, I am a medium that works with entities that have transitioned. I like to reach out to your family members who've crossed over. That's kind of what I'm known for in my readings. I'm not the person you come to if you want to communicate with angels. I'm not really the person you find if you want to communicate with Arcturians or Lemurians or, all these names, multidimensionals. But yet again, people, spiritual evolution, fine line between sanity and insanity, this line. So a few years ago, they start popping up. Angels start coming to healings and to sessions. And it's like, why are you here? Like, I say spirit team, I say teachers, gurus, masters, come on in. I even say angels. It's like part of my statement, but I don't have a personal bond or connection with them. But they're showing up. They're showing up and they're teaching me and they're showing me healing techniques. And it's like, why is this happening? Now we have multidimensionals that show up. They come into the room and I'll just sit there and look at them and just go, I don't even know if I can look at you. Like, you look so different. But what? So I am learning in real moments. And we have this series called the Angel Series that my guide Maitland, that I trance-channel, wanted to put together. And we're trance-channeling the 12 archangels, 12 of them. And we just had Uriel last Friday. I think this Friday we have another one. And see, this is how much I'm into it. I don't know the name offhand. Like, I'm going to learn in the moment. And in this, they're coming through and talking to you. They're offering healing sessions. They're introducing themselves. Like, this is how you feel me. This is what I might look like. They're showing up. And the overarching thing of why they're showing up, these multidimensionals, earth elements. Guys, I just saw somebody who was writing about the earth elements. Nancy McHugh says, Mother Earth has tons to say. If you listen close, you'll get your answers. Oh my God, I sat next to a fire pit last Saturday night in the mountains of North Georgia doing my 21 days of healing, and it sounded like the fire was whispering words, not like like it wasn't like a crackling fire. There was a voice in it, and it just makes me sit back and go, okay, where have I allowed my belief systems of what can be and what can't be get in the way of what really is? Nobody told me that fire can whisper and talk to you. Therefore, I've never heard it. And therefore, I believe it won't happen. Nobody has told me the intelligence and most amazing features of water. So therefore, it's water. It's something I have to drink because I need to stay hydrated. Or it's something that I want to clean my body in or take a bath in because I just want to feel better. Or it's this element for me, water. I'm so attracted to it. I just want to be around the ocean. I want to be looking over the water. Like, I crave it. It's an amplifier. Like, why? Yeah. We haven't been taught this. Our belief systems support what we've been taught and what we've experienced. And sometimes we just quit right then and there. And it takes some muscles, Luminaires. Get your muscles out, please, to be neutral, to not maneuver your life through your belief systems, but to maneuver for what is being presented to you. That's what makes this incredible spiritual shift, this speedy enlightenment, just change. So these overarching themes I was talking about, they want us to learn how to communicate telepathically. That's real well known. It's coming out more and more. And telepathy is a non-spoken language. It's not a thought-to-thought language. It's not like my voice is in your head and it's talking to you like we're on the phone. It is a sensitive, highly sensitive way of communication that involves feeling, emotion, sensation, images, words. It's a collaboration of so many things, and it's based on you being energetically aware and sensitive. Very, very accurate. And within a short amount of time, you can pick up not only what the person is sending, what they're feeling, where they are, what's coming, what the outcome, in a short amount of time. Whereas right now, we spend a lot more time putting words together, stringing them like a little popcorn string on a Christmas tree, like this word, that word, that word, to convey something, and it's still missing. What are the emotions behind that? How do you know where I'm coming from that? Do you understand my perspective more, or my intent of saying what I'm saying? Which leaves a lot of room for manipulation and misunderstanding, whereas telepathy doesn't. Another thing that I've noticed that they're really showing and teaching is bilocation. So this is kind of like the step before astral projection. I know a lot of you might have had astral projections. It's this moment where you are in your body, but you are also not in your body. You're very much aware of where it is, what it's doing, how it feels, how it's sitting, how it's laying, how it's supported, but you're also very much engaged in that space over there, or over there. I don't know, wherever you're going. Over there. Yonder is also what we call that. And so that bilocation is going to help us with, as well as telepathy is helping us with, this higher frequency of communication and receiving interactions with multidimensionals, which is what's going to be taking place on Earth. Like, we're in the middle of it. We're here for it. Something else is that this is the third overarching theme that I'll linger on, and then I want to describe some of the healing techniques that I've been a part of, that I'm learning, and that I've seen. So maybe you can take them, use them, ask questions, or tell me that you've experienced it too. So the third thing is that time is not linear. So our sense of shaping time in a linear experiences is falling apart. Not so comfortable. I'm not having a good time with it. Please let me know if you're having a great time with this, and then maybe you can teach me how to have a good time with that. Because there are moments where I get into something, like I did a healing a few nights ago, where it was last week, where I got into it and I did so much. I do my healing between the palms of my hands when I focus on people. And I went through layers and layers and layers, and I was like, oh my God, this is so wild. Like, I've been in here for like 45 minutes. I've just been down this rabbit hole way too long. I need to come on out, because it was just supposed to be a short check-in. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, but I did so much. And I come out of it, and I was like, wow, I'm shaking off the energy, closing up. I look at my phone. It was only 6 minutes, barely 5. And I was like, there's no effing way what I just thought about alone, linear thinking, would have fit into 5 minutes. There's absolutely no possible way. It was like a 2-hour movie. And so when you come out of these situations, it's like, okay, what's happening? And then I laugh at myself. Jamie, you've been with spirit and working with deceased and angels and multidimensionals for decades, for all your life. And you get hung up on this still. And I was like, well, I'm just being honest with myself. It does slow me down. My human linear mental mind enjoys the organization of where things go. And when time is not linear, that is obsolete. You don't have places of where things go. It's all happening at once. It's a now moment. And so when I get into those now moments, most of the time I do enjoy them in my healing work. But then when I come back to my mental body goes, what in the hell? What did you just do? How's that falling apart? Like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have words for it yet. So hopefully we're going to be developing some words as we go. Vlad's like, yeah, I agree. Linear time affects all of us. So no past, no future, being in the now. So let's start with some Archangel things. Metatron has been showing up. When I see Metatron, he's like very square shoulders, tall guy, just kind of hovers over things. And I have watched him place geometric, I'm going to call them cages, because to me it looks like a sealed sphere, like a cage, but it is made out of the sacred geometry that he's using for that person. And he will take that and he will place it around a chakra. He invited me one time to participate in using hexagons. So it looked like honeycomb pattern in a bright gold, looked like metal, looked very intense. And he was drawing it and placing it around the heart chakra. And that this frequency that it creates per the angles of each hexagon and how many there are around the chakra will help assist the chakra in doing the work that it needs to do. So it's like a self-cleansing, self-balancing, the color, the angles, the shape, the everything meant something. There was nothing in the design that was like, yeah, well, we can't really explain it. Just kind of happened that way. So we're rolling with it. None of that. It was all to a T. I've watched him put these cages of sacred geometry, different ones around different chakras. And I've looked online. I've done this. So please let me know if what I'm sharing you have witnessed or seen. I've looked online and it's like hexagon, beehive, pattern around the heart. Like, I can't find anything. I can find out angles of a hexagon and I can go down that rabbit hole, but how it relates to the heart chakra or the application of making it into a sphere and applying it, I can't find. So it's interesting. I've also, with sacred geometry, platonic solids. I don't know what that means, Vlad. Platonic solids. Okay. I'm going to write it down. Platonic solids. We're teachers to each other, guys. Okay. All right. So Metatron was doing that. There was also, I think it was the Lemurians. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The multidimensionals. Lemurians came in. We were working on chakras. And it was this, oh, hey, you guys are changing dimensional planes. Humans right now are evolving. It's not so much like a physical evolution where we're growing another pinky or a different organ, though a lot of people these days are growing extra vertebra. It's interesting. My kids are part of that tribe. Anyways, oh, I see what's happening. Yeah, guys, we'll figure it out. Okay, on the chat thread. So this spiritual evolution, this jump in frequencies, the Lemurians were like, well, your chakras are made up of little bitty vortexes. So like when you look at a golf ball, this is like the easiest way I know how to describe it. Golf ball, see it? That's about the size, it's actually here, the size of your chakra, 2 inches around like a golf ball. It's inside, it doesn't rest out in front of you, it's in the body. But you see the little divots on it, those little, oh my God, are they hexagon? Okay, well, that's just freaking fun to know that the golf ball is hexagon. When I see these little divots on your chakra, it is the edges of your, the little bitty vortexes. These are tiny little vortexes that spin and pull energy in and out. And they have little tails on the inside of this ball, this chakra of energy. And these little tails anchor to bone, marrow, blood, cells, tissue, muscle, all of this. And that's how the energy gets fed into a physical. It takes it from subtle light energy and it moves it into gross light energy and it anchors it into the body. So they're looking at that. And I've been shown how to kind of, you twirl the little vortexes and you stretch them. They're like springs. And when you move them like that, they kind of clean off. Imagine a dusty spring and you pull the spring and it collapses and it just kind of shakes off its little whatnots that it's not using. So we were doing that and then all of a sudden it was like, we're adding more. And I was like, adding more what? Energy? They're like, no, we're adding more vortexes. I was like, yo, well, how? How's that happen? Why would you do that? And I even had to talk with Colleen after this one. I was like, he was just wild. Like, Why wouldn't my brain ever think of that? Because it starts to make sense. We're adding, as we evolve spiritually, more vortexes in our chakra because it's anchoring energy into the more, we can call it esoteric, we can call it higher frequencies. Our organs and our tissues are going to be operating on a different frequency. We need more vortexes to move that higher frequency through and anchor it into the body. So more vortexes begin to grow. The chakra stays the same size. This is hard to explain, but it's like there's more space in it for more vortexes to pull higher frequency, higher vibration into the body with no side effect, with greater ease. And it anchors it into the gross energy that is making your physical body. I was like, okay, that's so cool. So look forward to that. That's happening. If you're here, you're raising your frequencies, and this is happening to us. Octurians showed up in one of my 21 days. It was this last series we just finished last night, which I'm missing already. And we were bringing in higher frequency energy and practicing putting it in our foundation, moving from a higher note, a higher vibration. That's what spiritual evolution is. That's when those old indoctrinated beliefs go away. You know, you start stepping out of routine, you start seeing fluidity in everything instead of it being fixed. Okay. So to stay in that growth, you build a new foundation, a higher frequency. That's 3D to 5D. Like we're expanding. So all of this makes sense. Octurians show up and they have this hexagon again, but it's large. It's about the size of my hand. And it looks like a mirror. Everything about the visual says, I'm a mirror. But if you get in front of it, you cannot see yourself. You don't even see your color showing up on it or the reflection of light. It's really weird. But it looks like a mirror. And it's attached to another hexagon and another one and another one, and it has these joints. And the Octurians showed up and placed it around the toric field, the edges of the auric body that is in relation to your current incarnation, that ends like at the 7th layer. It's called a toric field. It's where the energy starts to turn in on itself and feed itself. It's real fun stuff. So they put this thing head to toe. You're like in a little egg of hexagons that have links next to each other. You can hear it. It has this like heavy metal hitting each other sound. Once it's around you, what it's doing is it's amplifying the highest frequencies that you're currently holding. So like, you know, when you get an aha moment, and you're like, I know the answers to the universe. I know why life exists. It's like you hit this peak and you kind of float. You know what I'm talking about? You go, oh, yes. And then the back of your head, you're like, I'm going to remember this shit forever because it was the most impactful thing to me and it's changing my life and I love this. This is where I want to exist. And then time happens and it just kind of notches you down. And then in a few days, you go back to that incredible aha moment that shifted your life and it seems really, really far away. And the majority of your body goes, meh, whatever. We'll wait for the next one. Like, it's okay, let it be. It's because the brain couldn't describe it, organize it, label it, hold it, because it was so far beyond the means of your operation. You could just get that blip of a moment and then it would fade away. Oh my God, which is leading to the next thing I want to talk about. I didn't realize those things link together. Okay. So I gotta write this down. Aha moment. God damn. Sorry. That makes sense. So you have that and you float away from it and you're like, I can't obtain it. Okay, so that aha moment that you landed before, this, which Luminaire Carol named, I appreciate, because I was like, I don't know what to call this. She was like, what about a hexaflex? And I was like, oh my God, that's great. But it amplifies. So I'll call it a hexaflex amplifier. I feel like it should have been in the Back to Future movie, but the hexaflex amplifier. Once it's around you, it takes the highest frequency that you've held, like in your aha moment, or what you were working on in the healing that we were just doing that day, and it multiplies it. It holds it, makes it stronger, and it builds it. It's like a treatment. It's like getting into a hypobaric chamber to get a whole bunch of oxygen into your body. And so they leave it there until it works through the physical body. It works through first, second, third layers, very important, astral, celestial, spiritual layers of your energetic field. And then when it's done, they take it off. And it makes sound, which makes me go into these thought patterns that this is a real, tangible thing. This is not like imagination creation, like imagination creation doesn't go as far as like you can feel it shift through and you can feel it hit. Deb and Tara, you guys were in that healing session. You can share what it was like. Tara's like, it was intense. It was an intense one this go around. Yeah. So it actually exists, right, KL? Like I want to know if anybody else has witnessed it, seen it, had something similar to it. It was spectacular. And it came with a sound, like you could hear the energy in the sound wave, like you could barely hear it. Okay. So another technique that we did in the same healing series, this last one, not to just pick on you guys, but these were the ones where I was just like, God, it makes so sense. The spirit team, like your loved ones, your friends, your guides, they got together in a circle around the physical person, and they created a woven basket of light. And it was all of the high frequencies, like really, really big stuff. And what they would do is they would move the basket through you, move through the body, down through the body, up through the body, down through the body. So think about like sweeping, brushing through, filtering through, filtering back. And I was like, well, this is really interesting, but like just give it to us, like bring it on. And it was like, no. Short bursts of high frequency work best for the human to align with it instead of fight it. And they compared it to sound. And this is how I explained it in the healing. It's like if you were to listen to a really loud, high-pitched sound, there would be a point where you'd be like, enough! Where are my earplugs? Like, stop. It's so annoying. I can't. Too much. If it was just a burst, boop, boop, silence. You have time to rest, readjust. You hear the note again. Your energy matches it. Rest, readjust. You hear it again. And so they're sharing that they are pushing energy to us in short bursts so that we don't have to manage these shifts. Like we don't have to be like, I'm losing my mind. What's going on? I'm so irritated. Like I feel different today. It's going to be this, like I had a moment and I'm back away from it. I taste it and I'm away. I'm tasting it and I'm tasting it. And then finally, when the meal is served, it's like, I've tasted this before. I'm familiar with this. I can stay in this. So they're really working with us to maintain higher frequencies within our physical body. Our physical body has a lot more room for higher frequencies, but we've just believed that we don't. We believe that we've peaked out, right? We're at the top of the food chain, which we're not about to be anymore. When multidimensionals share our space publicly, we're not at the top of the food chain anymore. But we have the bandwidth to be equal to. So this is that room that they're providing space for. All right. Not only are the multidimensionals at it, but Earth is at it as well. So these are the elements. And the earth elements, wind, water, fire, earth, haven't worked so much with metal or minerals. Definitely plant life, but I'm going to talk about the elements of wind, water, fire, earth, who are showing up in the healings. And it's interesting because when we think of having somebody show up for us or being a teacher to us, we want them to have head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like eyes, a mouth, and talk to us. It's like we want them to appear as an equal. Fire is something we might have played around with a kid, well, as a kid, not with a kid. As a kid, you're like, ooh, put sticks in it, like see what burns. Water we get into with a pool, a creek, things of that nature. And we aren't taught the level of respect to those elements, let alone level of respect to earth herself, the soil beneath our feet. Here in the United States, we've done quite a bit of damage to soil with pesticides and chemicals, and many people are coming forward with the knowledge of how to repair that. Healing, which is great, I've been shown so many times, and I want this a part of my everyday language. It's not yet, because I'm in learning mode, as most of us are, but healing can happen so much faster than destruction. And we think destruction is fast, right? Explosives, things crumbling, things come on real fast. It's difficult, it's hard, it's denser. But the healing aspect can be quicker than what the destruction took. So Earth is ready to heal. She's ready to flip that switch. And she is sending out stronger voices with her elements so that we develop that reconnection to Earth to assist. But Earth is also in it to win it for telepathy, for bilocation, and for non-linear time experiences. Like, she's very much a part of it. I hear some of you reading, what about crystals? Yes, crystals are part of Earth. To me, I see crystals as equal to plants, living life force, part of the mineral kingdom. But I mean, we could go down a huge rabbit hole with that one. So I was just leaving it to wind, which wind does this really, really high frequency treatment. I like to call it wind therapy now. And it uses its energy to release energy off of you and give you a different perspective. Have you ever noticed when the wind is in your face, it's all of a sudden you are carefree? Nothing in the world matters. Wind therapy is like instant, like glam, carefree. I can see. I mean, thank you so much, wind. It's like really awesome. So wind is offering us that. Water, who's been showing up in a lot of healings, is amplifier. And in fact, after I do some of the healing sessions, water will say, mention me. And it's like, okay, today would be a good day to get closer to water, whether that's consuming more water, taking a longer shower, soaking in a bath, feet in a creek, swimming in the ocean. Being around water will amplify the frequencies that you've just allowed your body to co-create and to, make your homeostasis. Water is like, I'm here for you, let's do it. But there's some days that you do such intense work, water is like, don't take a break from me. I'm not your person. Like, I'm not your thing. Because if I amplify what you've done, is too much for you. So break away from me. And that's sometimes where fire will step in, as fire is this release and reset, this cleanse and reset. And when we get into that, fire likes to access the crevices of your belief systems and your thoughts that maybe you can't reach personally. And so it kind of flushes things out from the back and takes them away. I really enjoy the shares. You keep them coming on the chat thread. Earth we know is our grounder. It roots us. So foundation is very important for humans, especially in any kind of moment of growth or change, which is what healing means. Healing means we've identified something that doesn't vibrate with us, and we want to co-create with it to shift the story, change the narrative, change perspective, change how the frequency is working with the cells, with the emotions, with the thoughts. Like we're clearing it out. When we do that, we require to be extremely grounded. Grounded does not mean lesser than or lower than and not able to fly. This is the misconception that Earth is teaching us so much. We get into our spiritual journey and we look at our chakra systems, here we go. Red root, this is the Earth chakra, all the way up to violet crown to higher consciousness. Some people, when they get into the journey, they just want to eliminate the lower frequencies because they want all the goodies. They want all the high stuff. They want all the psychic, intuitive, like, wow, shit. So they build these and then they're completely imbalanced. They're not resonating from their heart. They're not grounded. So when we can ground into the lower frequencies that our body can maintain, it allows us to soar higher and higher. That's the way that I want you to think about it. That's the way that I want you to see it. We're not ignoring anyone. All-inclusive journey, root, ground, earth energy so that we can get higher and higher and higher up the frequencies. So those are the wild things that I have come across. The different healing techniques and approaches from archangels, from multidimensionals, from Earth's elements. And I'm just in a position of saying, okay, let's open up some belief systems, Jamie. Why can't this be possible? Anything is possible. I do have that language in me, but still my quick observation and engagement is going to navigate through my belief systems. And that's where I'm trying to find this balance. That's why we come here and we talk. We're all learning from each other. And if you want to learn more about how I work or what I'm doing, especially with Reiki and quantum healing, I'm doing a 6-week series and it's Reiki and quantum healing fusion. Like we're just putting it together and it gets really fun, a little on the deeper end of the pool side. So looking at attached entities, looking at how to transition entities into higher light frequency, because these things are real and some of you are coming across them, but there's just not a lot of, in my opinion, there's not a lot of grounded classes out there that just talk about this type of work. I do require that you have a level 2 in Reiki to come join us for the fun, because we are going to be talking about Reiki symbols. You don't have to have taken Reiki from me, though I do teach it. And if you're interested in it, join me for my fall sessions. They're available. And if you're interested, when we're talking about those overarching themes that these extraterrestrial energies and earthly energies are teaching us about bipolar location, not bipolar, let's take that one back. It's bilocation and telepathy and nonlinear time experiences. We have 2 cabins open in our Taos retreat, which the cabins in Taos are in August 24th through the 29th. But we begin our journey on the 29th of July because we're doing 21 days of telepathic studies. So we're going to do Hathar techniques and invite some of our multidimensional friends in to teach us telepathy. I'm excited about it. I have no idea what's going to come up. And I promise I will take copious notes, because if this turns out to be like a really wonderful journey for those 21 days of engaging in telepathy, we'll do it again without the retreat. So it'll be all remote. So it'll be very helpful for those of you who live in different parts of the world who want to engage with the telepathy. Oh, Tony, just being here calms my nervous system back down. Yay. Yes, if today's content resonates with you, give us a thumbs up, share. I believe if we start talking about our experiences, no matter how wild and weird they seem, because they are real and they did happen. They happened to you, they happened to me. If we could just practice talking about it. We don't need to over sensationalize it. We don't need to downplay it. We don't need to throw it under a bus or pack it up and hide it. These are our experiences. I think it helps us gain those muscles of listening to somebody else's journey that might sound just out of this world. But this is what is happening on Earth at this time. It's just like, can you believe it? It's wild. I'm very excited for it. I'm here for it, obviously. It's why we incarnated. Pinky promise, all of us. But if you like this, give us a thumbs up. And if you have any other content that you would like for us to talk about or share, put it in the chat thread. I say us because the lovely Colleen Ziegler is on this chat thread. She's not here with me today, but she's on there, and she is the other half of how all of this functions so much. Thank you, Colleen. And thank you to all of you Luminaires for being here. Remember, this is not woo-woo. It's true. I'll talk at you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone. Bye.